guys, so happy to be here again. Another Tuesday. Today is gonna be really exciting because we're gonna be talking about why you're broke. Okay, I don't mean to point fingers, so sorry, but we're gonna be talking about why you're broke, why money just can't seem to stay in your pockets. If you're someone who's living paycheck to paycheck, has a ton of debt, finding yourself in this toxic cycle of like financial stagnation, then this is the video for you. Okay, we're gonna get really deep today. It may get pretty uncomfortable, but honestly, to see any kind of change, you have to do the inner work. And change starts from within, right? You can't force other people to change you. It's so easy to point fingers at other people and put the blame on other people and put the blame on money, right? For the reason why your life isn't the way that you want it to look like. But at the end of the day, we have to stop being codependent. We can't keep depending on other people to create the life that we want for ourselves. It is you and only you, right? You came into this body, you came into this world for a reason, to fulfill a purpose. We all have a purpose, and in order to fulfill that, you need to know what you need for yourself. You can't let other people define that for you, okay? So if you are in a shitty relationship and you do not like it, then you need to remove yourself from that relationship. If you are in a shitty relationship with your money and you do not like it, then you need to look at yourself and observe and see what kind of behaviors are in place that is causing you to waste your money, right? To be impulsive with your money, to be in debt. You need to look, all the answers are within, okay? Anyways, I'm gonna jump into it right now, okay? So I'm gonna break it down. It's gonna be 6 reasons or 6 concepts that you probably haven't heard before as to why you are broke, okay? So I'm not gonna be talking about, oh, you're broke because you don't budget, you're broke because of, I'm not talking about the practical things. I'm gonna go deep and I'm gonna do what most people don't talk about, okay? Because it's very hard to talk about these things. So the first one that I wanted to talk about was childhood trauma. So you may be laughing and you're like, what the hell does my childhood have to do with money? Everything, okay? Anything that you have, first of all, the experiences, just the experiences in the first few years of your life has a tremendous impact on how you will navigate the rest of your life, okay? And we don't know it. A lot of the times when we're younger, depending on what kind of environment you grew up in, you've probably seen a lot of negative shit. And if you're someone who's seen a lot of negative shit, you have a lot of trauma to work through. And what happens is these traumas, these triggers, cause us to make bad decisions. They cause us to make decisions out of a place of fear, out of places of anxiety, out of places of scarcity, right? Especially when we're talking about money, scarcity is a very popular word. And it makes sense because scarcity is pretty much defining someone who feels like they have less than, right? Like they don't have enough. And so if you are someone who grew up in the hood, if you're someone who grew up in poverty, and all around you, you saw people suffering, you saw people doing the most to get money because they equated like they would literally do the worst things to get money because they didn't believe that doing things the right way would get them there, right? Or you grew up with maybe skipping meals sometimes, right? Like your parents couldn't afford to put a meal on the table every single day. And so there were times where you went days without food. There were times where you went days without shelter or home. Maybe you were homeless at some point. Maybe you spent days like not having proper shoes or clothes, right? You did not feel secure. The world, you coming into this world, the first few years of your life, you did not feel held and supported and safe. And that is super important because if you're one of those people, or maybe it could be deep things like sexual abuse, right? I don't even really want to touch on those, but these are things that happen to a lot of people when they're younger, when they're children, when you're innocent, right? You're very innocent at this age. And so any traumas that have hit you around this time, they stay with you, right? A lot of the times we try to push it back. We try to move forward in life and say, oh, I'm just going to forget about this. I don't want to acknowledge it because it brings so much pain. But if you do not work through that pain, it will manifest in other areas of your life. So if you don't know how to handle the traumas that you've been through and you've actively been pushing it back for all these years, your money's not right, your relationships aren't right, your career isn't right, your life is a mess, You need to work through your trauma. Super, super important. And I'm not a therapist, so definitely when I go through childhood traumas, I usually let my clients do it on their own. I give them exercises. And even with that, if you get to a point where like it's becoming too much and you can't go through your traumas and work on things on your own, then it's time to see a therapist. I am really big on this. Like, if you have to go into debt, I always say if you're going into debt because you're making an investment in yourself, so whether that's you're going to school, whether that's because you want to spend money on a therapist to get over any traumas that you've had in your life, do it. Do it, do it, do it. I don't care what anybody else tells you. You're going to go into debt to see a therapist? Yes, you are. Because, like, what kind of life can you lead if you're leading it from a place of pain? Like, no one wants to live that life, right? Like, you deserve the best, and forgive yourself, right? For what you've gone through. It's time for you to heal, forgive yourself so you can move on and live the best life possible and not have all these things holding you back, okay? So definitely look into your childhood trauma. There are exercises where literally write a letter to money, okay? Like, find a space for yourself one day where you literally just sit and just write out everything you hate about it, love about it, your past, the way that your parents dealt with money, the way that you dealt with money, the things that you saw just growing up, the fact that you felt abandoned in life. Maybe you felt like you couldn't trust people because there was a certain incident in life, you know, like when you were a child where it really damaged you and it really fractured your sense of belonging or your sense of feeling safe and secure or feeling supported. So you need to work through that, okay? This is like, it took me 6 minutes to just talk about this one topic, right, of trauma, okay? And I have 5 more to go, but that one is like the most important because who we are today is because of who we were in our past and the things that we've been through. It doesn't have to define our future. That's the difference, right? Like, who you are right now is dependent upon all of what has happened, right, since you've come into this world. But that doesn't mean who you are today, based on what has happened in the past, has to also continue into your future, right? Today is a day where you can decide to change and to make that 180 and change your life around, okay? So there's nothing wrong with being ashamed of your past. Your past makes you who you are, for better or for worse. And I just want you to acknowledge that and to be comfortable and to be okay. All right, second, social conditioning. So this sort of ties into the whole childhood trauma. Social conditioning happens like when we're younger, right? We come into this world as innocent human beings. We don't know what Christianity is. We don't know what Islam is. We don't know what the difference is between the English language and French. We don't know what the dollar bill is and currency. We don't know how to tell time. We don't know a lot of things. Everything that we know has been taught. It has either been taught by our parents, our siblings. It's been taught by schools, institutions that have their belief sets, right? Based on what, you know, the origins of that person who created that institution. So everything that we believe is what someone else has believed. It's not anything that we believe for ourselves. It's crazy, right? So literally you come into this world and it's like slowly people start to put this box around you and they tell you how you should look like, how you should dress based on your gender, right? What kind of religion you're a part of. Oh, my parents are Christian, now you're Christian. Off the bat, right? This is called social conditioning. And then also on top of it, like depending on where you live, right? There's a culture set. And so if you're someone who's maybe North American, well, like, you know, the normal culture here is, okay, like, you know, you're going to go to school, you're going to work, you're going to get married, have kids, and then you're going to work really hard for like the next 40 years, and then you retire when you're 65, and then you get to spend time with your grandkids and go on like little trips, and then you die, right? And that's the condition society tells us, like, this is how it's supposed to look like, right? The woman is supposed to work in the home. The man is supposed to go out there and make the money. The woman is supposed to have, you know, want to bear kids. That's all women are good for, right? Like, all these, I mean, of course, we've kind of shifted from there. Hopefully we have. And I think we've kind of, you know, we've become less rigid in our beliefs, and we're starting to become a bit more open and fluid with concepts, right? Like, you know, now we're giving, you know, the LGBT plus community rights, right? To get married and to just, you know, we recognize that people should just be able to love whoever they want to love. So we're starting to break down these rigid belief sets that don't really work for people anymore, because we're all starting to open up. We're all starting to realize that we don't need to subscribe to a box, right? Like, who are you to tell me how I want to live my life? I don't feel this way. I don't feel like I should be, just because, my parents are doctors, I have to be a doctor. I don't want to be a doctor. Maybe I want to be an activist. And that's what burns my heart up. Like, that's what makes me so passionate. And I get up every day and that's what I want to do. So then do it. Don't put yourself in a box. And this is exactly what social conditioning does, especially when it comes to our money. It tells us, this is how you're supposed to make your money. There's only one way to make money. Or, you can't quit your job and start a business. Are you crazy? Like, no, you're supposed to stay at a job, work there for a long time, invest your money into your RSP, and make sure your government matches your contributions, and then you'll be okay. And then you retire, whatever. It's okay. Like, you're not really supposed to love your job. Nobody loves their job. Like, all these things that we're told that keeps us in a place of fear, right? Literally, social conditioning is the worst thing because it keeps us in a state of fear. It tells us that if we step outside of this box, we will be ostracized, and society will no longer look at us as someone normal or valuable, and we're pretty much kicked out of the cool club, right? And so you have to determine for yourself, whatever decisions you make with your money, are you doing it to stick inside this box of what society tells you to do? Or do you want to free yourself and finally find yourself, have money working for you in ways that you never thought imaginable, right? This is people who are wealthy and who are rich. If you've noticed their lives, a lot of them live outside the box. A lot of them are artists. A lot of them are inventors. They've come up with, inventions or new technologies to shift and change the world. People who are rich and wealthy are not normal. And so if you want to become rich and wealthy, you have to be able to take yourself out of this box, please. Moving on, I'm going to talk about limiting beliefs. So a limiting belief can look like money doesn't bring happiness, right? I'm pretty sure you'll hear a lot of people say this, and the people who say this the most are people who are actually really unhappy with their lives, or who actually just don't have a lot of money, and to justify them not having money and living the life that they want to live, they just claim that money doesn't bring happiness. It is a scientific fact. I know there have been studies where, okay, to a certain extent, money doesn't bring happiness. If you were to have at least up to $200,000, make up to $200,000 a year, you would be happier. Okay, so take it like how much you're making now, and where $200,000 is, that journey to getting there, you will increasingly become happier. Why? Because now you don't have to worry about bills. Now, if you want to take a couple trips throughout the year, now you can. Your mental health is a bit better, right? You don't have to worry about where your next paycheck is coming in. You don't have any debt. You don't have blah, 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 all these things. All the things that you're struggling with right now, as you make more money, you should be able to erase them. That is keeping in mind that you have healthy financial habits, right? And you know how to manage your money. Because I always say this, you can have 6 figures and still be broke and still be in debt because you're just very, very irresponsible with your money. So it doesn't matter how much money you have, but if you do not know how to control your money will control you, and you will not be able to live the life that you truly want to live if someone else is in control of your destiny, okay? And so money can bring happiness, but up until a certain extent. Once you start making more than a certain, than $200,000 or whatever that arbitrary number is, it doesn't really matter. So what what scientists are trying to say is there's no difference between making $1 million and $1 billion at this point, right? When you're making that kind of money, it's you don't get any happier. Shit's still gonna happen. You're still gonna have poor relationships, and all these. You're still gonna have the everyday drama that just comes with being an everyday human being, right? The only luxury you have is that you don't have to worry about money. It's like that song, Jay-Z, right? 99 problems, but money isn't one. That would kind of be money wouldn't be a problem, but you still have all these other problems to solve for. Other limiting beliefs can look like rich people are evil, rich people are greedy. This is a big one, especially if you're someone who was raised in a more traditional faith, like Christianity. For me, I know growing up in the Bible, they do mention that, money is the root of all evil. That's something that me growing up, I've always heard. And whenever someone that had a lot of money did something bad, it would always be see, money is the root of all evil. Money isn't everything. Like, see all the people that have money, they're the wickedest people on earth. And it's like, you kind of get drilled that into your head thinking that, wow, like rich people are horrible human beings. And so if rich people are horrible human beings, why would I want to be rich? Because then that makes me a horrible human being. Wow, right? And consciously, we don't, you know, like fuse the two things together, but subconsciously, our brain picks these things up. And our brain is already telling ourselves these things, but we don't realize it. Because like, we can't consciously catch our subconscious, right? Our subconscious is working 10 times faster than our consciousness. So this is why you have to be super, super careful, super aware about your belief sets and what you've been taught to slowly peel away layers of this onion, right? Or just slowly take down sides of this box, because really it is so easy to get caught up. And, you know, for me, it's disheartening, because I bet there are so much people you can look at right now that have wealth that you actually, that actually inspire you and that you look up to. One person I can mention is like Oprah. Okay, you know, maybe there could be some people who don't like her because she talks over people or whatever. Okay, that's cool. But in terms of having wealth and the transformation that she has created for so many people, right, in their lives, like having a talk show for like what, almost like 20 years, and just the lives that she's been able to transform, the amount of people who have learned so much things just by watching her show about themselves spiritually and how to become better versions of themselves. You're gonna tell me, is Oprah evil? No, she has a hell of a lot of money, but she does a lot of good with the money that she has. And so I really want people to separate this belief that having lots of money puts you into one category. And you don't, you know, like I always say, like, money isn't the issue, it's the person behind the money. You can, if you're someone who's innately an evil person and you're selfish and you don't care about others and you have a lot of money, then you're not going to do great things with your money, right? When I think about people like Jeffrey Epstein, like these are people who have they have a great relationship with money. They're able to manifest and you know, and bring in money, but they don't do good things with it. But then you have people who amass great amount of wealth. We think about Warren Buffett, who's like one of the greatest investors of all time. People like Bill Gates, they have a lot of money, but they're some of the greatest philanthropists in this world. They're all about community and giving back and trying to make this world a better place. And so I want you, when you think about money is the root of all evil, think about instead whose hands is this money in? Because if money is in my hands, I know I'm going to do great things with it. And I'm going to give back and do great things for my community and to make this world a better place. And so I just want you to keep that in mind when we're talking about limiting beliefs and things that make you associate money with something negative, okay? Money is not evil. Money is neither evil nor good. Money just is, okay? And it's up to you what you decide to do with it. But knowing that having more money in your life can bring, to a certain extent, a level of happiness, okay? Let's not lie to ourselves. If we all had an extra $20,000, we would be ecstatic, okay? Let's not lie to ourselves. 3, I'm gonna try to wrap this up, guys. Oh my gosh, this is a long video. This is a long one today. Inner critic. So inner critic is pretty much all the things that we say about ourselves, you know? Like, what will people think of me if I start making too much money? They're going to think, oh, I'm too good for them. Or some people have this fear that if I start making too much money, I'm going to lose my friends because then they can't keep up with the type of lifestyle that I have. Instead of thinking, well, maybe I have a lot of money, I could be teaching my friends how to also make a lot of money, how to grow their wealth and bring them up with me, right? So it's sort of this pessimistic thinking versus being optimistic, right? When you're operating out of your inner critic, you're thinking of all the ways that things can go wrong when you have more money in your hands, instead of thinking of all the things that can go right when you have more money. And you need to start shifting, you know, your belief sets to start thinking more from a positive angle. And it's not easy, but just as simple as if you catch yourself, just saying, no, that's not true. No, I don't believe that. Telling your subconscious, no, I don't believe that. That is not true. I have this, I have this, I have that, I have that. I have all of these things to be grateful for. And I know with me having this opportunity, this X, Y, and Z will happen to me in my life. Great things, X, Y, and Z will happen, okay? I want you to get into the habit of catching yourself when any of these negative concepts sort of pop up, okay? And ideologies are starting to kind of screenplay across your mind, okay? Imposter syndrome. So this is the 5th one. Imposter syndrome is a very popular one for people who are self-employed or who are in a business, or people who just struggle with confidence. Imposter syndrome really, at the end of the day, is just someone who lacks confidence in an area of their life. So if, for example, you have a business, this happens to like me personally, I'm not perfect too. I have an imposter syndrome that I don't believe that I am worth maybe what I'm offering. So sometimes you'll find a lot of people, business owners, when it comes to a point for sales or they're trying to sell their services, they start to have this fear and anxiety that, you know, no one's going to really want to purchase from them or buy from them or buy their product, or their business isn't going to be successful because who are they to really start a business? Like, who's really going to pay attention to me? Like, people aren't going to take me serious. I'm only 25. Who am I to talk about investing, right? Like, this is imposter syndrome, when you feel like you are not good enough to do something. And this happens to a lot of people, and this can happen with people with their money. So some people may think when I have a lot of money, like I don't have the confidence to show up, right? Like, I don't think I'm going to be doing good things with my money. If I have money, like, I don't know what to do with it, right? And so because of that, it's easier to just not have money, because then you don't have to deal with the idea that you have all of this, you know, money and you don't know what to do with it. So it's better to just not have money and know that I don't have money and just keep on struggling, which is crazy to think about, but that's actually what's happening. Our mind does crazy things, guys. And then last but not least, FOMO. So I slightly talked about it earlier in the video, but FOMO simply is a fear of missing out. So if you are someone where, you know, this FOMO happens to a lot of people who impulsively spend, because marketers love you guys, because they can easily feed off of your insecurities and fill whatever voids that you want to fill. So if you're someone who's like, I'm ugly, I don't think I'm cute, I don't think I'm beautiful, well, here's a Garcinia Cambogia pill so that you can lose weight and so your body can look snatched in 2 weeks. Here are some waist trainers. Here are some like herbal teas, and we're gonna sponsor Kim Kardashian to make you drink this tea that's really gonna fuck up your insides. But it doesn't matter, because you just want to look good, and you want to look good because you don't have a boyfriend and guys don't come your way, and you think that this is the way to get the perfect person into your life. And it's like, it's crazy. It's like this, I don't know what to call it. It's literally like quicksand. It's so easy to get caught up in like what we're supposed to look like, how we're supposed to present ourselves and show up, how we're supposed to be normal and well put together, and like, you know, if I don't have this job, what is this person gonna think of me? And if I don't have this car, the girls aren't gonna like me. And if I'm not wearing this, if I don't have the hair and the nails and all of these things. And it's so easy for us to get caught up in what we should have. And some of us will actually go into debt just to look like someone who is not, right? Just to live a life that we really can't afford to live. And this is what we call, you know, living above your means. So people who tend to live above their means, FOMO is a big, big reason, okay? Fear of missing out. Fear of missing out of what other people have, keeping up with the Joneses, right? So your neighbor goes and gets a bigger car, and now you feel like, shit, yo, I gotta one up on this person because they can't be flossing on me like this. Like, who do they think they are? I've been running this neighborhood. You just moved in 2 years ago, or you're gonna pull up in the driveway with a flashy ass Cadillac. Like, no, you're not. I'm gonna go get me a Porsche and show. Like, it's just crazy. Sometimes you like, and it's one advice is do not covet and envy your neighbor, because you do not know how people got those items. You could be envying your friend that like bought this house, and like she could be deep in debt, or she can hardly be she's probably hardly able to afford her mortgage, right? She's probably house poor, and you're here like, yo, I wish I was in her place. Like, this girl thinks she's all good in that. Like, everybody is where they're supposed to be. There is no race, okay? Then, like, what are you racing towards? We're all gonna die. If you're racing for anything, you're racing to die faster than somebody else. Do not race. Take your time. Enjoy life and what it has to offer and what you have here today, okay? And I want to end off and just say that gratitude, if you have any of these things, the best thing to do, step one to sort of get yourself out of these negative belief sets is to just show gratitude. Look at what you have around you and be grateful, right? Like, you had something to eat today. Not everyone can say that. You have clothes, you have shoes on your feet, you have shelter, you have a roof above your head. And even if you're struggling to have a roof above your head, that should be even more of a reason to be thankful, because shit, you're making it work, right? You have something above your head, you're able to sleep at night, and you have a job, you have money coming in. There are people right now, it's COVID, who are like losing their jobs. So if you're someone who has your job and you hate it, be grateful. At least you have something, right? Find ways to be happy and to look forward to things. And when you show the universe, when you show God, the world, whatever you believe in, okay, when you give off that energy that you are grateful, that you're abundant, that the universe has given you everything that you need, the universe will want to give you more. If you show money that you're ungrateful and you're like, yo, you're not doing anything for me. Like, I'm always struggling. What are you good for? Like, think about it as a relationship. Like, if you talk to your boyfriend that way or you talk to your girlfriend that way, like, how would they feel? Obviously, they're not going to respond well, and it's probably going to create more tension, right? So you want to come from a place of love and understanding and just being like, listen, you do you, right? Money, you're kind of being annoying right now, but I'm going to find a way to make it work because you've done so much for me. And I'm going to just find a way to make this work, okay? There are two types of people. There's one person who's like, I don't have the money for that. And there's the other person who says, how can I have the money for that? And you want to be that person that's like, how can I find the money to improve my life, right? Anyways, 26-minute video. I am so sorry, guys, but this is super, super important. I actually might just break this down into 2 parts because this was really loaded and I really want you even to go back and watch this over again. So I'm just gonna go over the 6 reasons why you're probably broke, okay? So childhood trauma. Really, guys, do some inner work. Go way back, dig in deep, go see a therapist if there's a lot of trauma that's holding you back, okay? Social conditioning. What is the box that you have put yourself in? How can we peel back the layers and really open up the truth as to what it is, okay? You don't have to follow conventional methods and conventional ways of going about life, okay? The richest people did not follow, Bill Gates did not even finish university, okay, guys? So if anyone here wants to be rich and wealthy, you do not have to follow a certain conventional way, traditional way of navigating life, okay? 3, limiting beliefs. So what is stopping you? What are belief sets that you have grown up hearing? What do people tell you that makes you sort of not like money and have a negative relationship with it? Do you think money is evil? Do you think money doesn't bring happiness? You got to start taking a look at that and really asking yourself why you think that and is it actually true? 4, inner critic. Why are you so hard on yourself? Stop being hard on yourself, okay? Having more money isn't going to ruin your relationships. You need to trust yourself, right? You know what type of person that you are, and if you don't like the type of person that you are, change before you have more money in your hands. 5, imposter syndrome. Don't think too hard. Don't think too much about it. Having money, you need to be confident with the money that you have in your hands, okay? And you need to know that you are worth everything. It is your birthright to have everything that you want in this life, and that you need to go after it and have the confidence to do so, okay? We're all gonna, at some point in our lives, feel inadequate, but just know that we're all here for a purpose and for a reason, and no one on this earth is worth more or less, okay? We're all equal, so if Oprah can do it, you can do it too. Cut out the imposter syndrome. You were made for this, or whatever you wanna do, whatever goals you have set, however you want to change this world, go about it and do it. Keep dreaming. Just make sure you go after it. Don't just dream and not do anything. You actually have to put in the work, okay? And do it. And the only way through is through, okay? So you can't, the only way to it is through, okay? Anything that comes up, fear, anxieties, push yourselves. The best people in life, no matter how scared they are, they still do it. So you got to go through life with that, okay? And the last one, fear of missing out. So do not get caught up in what society tells you you need to buy into. Don't fall into this marketing trap. Don't let them feed into your insecurities. You do not need that $100 eyeshadow palette tomorrow. Relax. You are not going to die. It's not the end of the world. You have 3 other eyeshadow palettes. Finish up the other 3 that you have. Do not be putting yourself in debt to feed this invisible ego, or to prove things to other people, or to feel like these objects provide true and intrinsic value and happiness, okay? If what you're buying only makes you happy for 5 minutes, you should not be buying it. You should only be buying things that continuously make you happy, or experiences that you can look back on and bring you a sense of joy and peace and love, okay? And that's really all you should be spending your money on. Anyways, I think that's it. Woo, that was pretty loaded. I think I'm going to break this into 2 parts. You may not have got everything in one bit. I was kind of talking at you for a while, dropping a lot of gems, and I was kind of preaching to you guys at one point. Not one point, the whole time. I'm sorry. I was preaching to you guys this whole damn time, but it's facts. And sometimes I just gotta come correct. And so I came correct today, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope I spoke to you, and I hope you're not crying and like mad at me that now you have to go do some inner work, but you do. And at the end of the day, this should have been my very first video before I started, because anything in life, any change that you want to see, it starts with you. It's not with other people. It's not some external reason that's holding you back. It's yourself. And it's very hard to admit that. It's very hard to look yourself in the mirror and be like, it's you all along, but it is, okay? It's so easy to just want to be a victim of situations, which at times, yes, we are victims, but we don't have to be our past, right? We don't have to be what hurt us, what caused us pain. We can learn how to alchemize that pain and turn it into something beautiful, right? Something beautiful to offer back to this world, and to see through the life that we want to see, right? And create a new vision and a new future for ourselves. And that's all I have to say today. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'm gonna go get a glass of water, because damn. It's my longest video yet, guys. You know where to find me, at Holistic Bucks on Instagram. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, all those other ones, but whatever. I'm mainly on Instagram, and obviously my YouTube videos every Tuesday. So yeah, tune in next week. We're gonna be talking about 3 things that you need to do before you start investing. And I actually have a little surprise coming out next week. There's gonna be a wait list. I have a freebie coming out. It's gonna be, I'm not gonna tell you what it's on, but it's gonna be an email freebie. And yeah, stay tuned. I'll probably talk more about it next Tuesday and on my Instagram. But take care, guys. See you next time.